I'm at the annex, which is the newer part of the Cathedral Shrine of the Virgin of Guadalupe. And it's a historical place here in the Diocese of Dallas, and it's always growing. And just like a family, we all have to change and adapt to the new times. But the way they're doing it here is by getting to the heart and the root of why they are a great church. They want to invite everyone into God's family. And we're going to get a chance to meet a good friend of mine. He's like a brother, a seminarian brother, now priest brother, the rector, Father Rudy Garcia. So let's go in and let's be part of God's family. I'm here in the cathedral, which is also a shrine dedicated to Our Lady of Guadalupe, with good friend, classmate, and also rector of the cathedral, Father Rudy Garcia. Thank you for welcoming us into this magnificent place. And Father Rudy just mentioned something. This diocese was established by a great Leo the 13th, who I'm named after. So tell us a little bit about this cathedral, its importance, and just some of the things that people can find when they come here.
Will do, Father Leo. Thank you. And thanks for being here, and welcome to your television audience. We're so happy to have you with us here at the cathedral, which is of great importance in the life of the city. The cathedral is currently located in the center of town, in the center of this great city. It is at the center of the financial and business and arts sector of the city. And as such, it holds great importance because it reminds us of the divine in the midst of all of the worldly and temporal realities that we live in. It reminds us of God. There are many people that come in from their place of work and find here refreshment for their souls, a place where people can connect with God and go back into the city and evangelize the city and the world.
And that connection is really interesting in the Cathedral Shrine's history, because at one point this was a parish, and now it's turned into a cathedral and now a shrine, only to kind of satisfy a growing demographic. Tell me about the area and how it continues to invite everyone into God's family.
Sure. Well, you're right. The cathedral, before it was an actual cathedral, was Sacred Heart Parish, and it was located a few blocks from here. And then in 1890, as you pointed out, Pope Leo XIII established the diocese, and thereafter Sacred Heart Parish became Sacred Heart Cathedral. And many people came to the cathedral from 1890 till about the 1930s. In the 1930s through the 1950s, the city of Dallas witnessed a great transition. A lot of the people, a lot of the Catholics that were coming into the city went out into the suburbs. And the cathedral found itself in a situation where its congregation was greatly diminished. At that time, the bishop of the diocese noticed that the congregation diminished, but at the same time was aware that a neighboring parish named Our Lady of Guadalupe Church was flourishing and filled to capacity. It was a national church, and it was dedicated to Our Lady of Guadalupe, administered by the Carmelite Fathers. It is at that time, in the 1960s, when the bishop of the diocese decided to merge Sacred Heart Cathedral and Our Lady of Guadalupe Parish. Shortly thereafter, the bishop of the Diocese of Dallas petitioned the Vatican to rename the cathedral Our Lady of Guadalupe, and it became the Sanctuary Our Lady of Guadalupe.
And now you are a thriving parish with people coming in. How many masses do you have, and how many people come on a given weekend?
We're filled to capacity, standing room only. We have 25,000 registered families on our books, and we have 10 masses to accommodate the faithful every Sunday. And again, those masses are filled to overflowing. We're very blessed.
And what are the things that people, when they come to visit the place, what should they look for? What are some of the highlights architecturally and the aesthetics so that they can be connected to God through the beauty?
Sure. The cathedral, its architecture is Victorian Gothic, and Gothic in itself is meant to raise our minds and hearts to God. So everything about this cathedral is meant to do precisely that, raise our minds and hearts to the things of God. And so you will enjoy beautiful stained glass windows here, over 100 years old, depicting apostles and saints. We have here too a unique structure by the architect Nicholas Clayton, who was a very famous architect, originally from Houston. But Nicholas Clayton, when he built the cathedral, wanted to convey also that the cathedral is a source of light. And so the lighting in our cathedral is very unique. When he first built it, of course, electricity was relatively new at that time. And before the cathedral could turn on her lights, the people at that time would have to call the power company to let them know that the cathedral was about to turn on its lights. Wow. Because it was a huge drain on the power plant. So that's, I think, one of the unique features of this Victorian Gothic cathedral, the lighting.
Father Rudy, when I come into a cathedral like this, I look at the magnificent organ, I look at the unique lighting on the ceiling, the statues, obviously Our Lady of Guadalupe, but you pointed out earlier one very unique stained glass window of Father Hartnett, who died during the smallpox plague because he himself ministered to a woman who had smallpox, and he's kind of a little bit of a martyr. And you know what? You, in a way, are that kind of martyr, giving yourself to a growing community and inviting everyone with a changing demographic into this parish family. So I can't thank you enough, but I thank you more because, folks, when we come back, you are going to take me to a place where I can be fed, not just in my spirit, but in my very hungry stomach. Where are we going to go after this?
We're going to my parents' restaurant called Rudy's Mexican Restaurant.
I love it. We'll see you real soon. We are here in Father Rudy's restaurant. Actually, it was just named after him because it was like a couple days after your birth date. Is that right?
That's correct.
And this restaurant's been here for how long?
It's been here for 40 years this October.
That is really amazing. Since 1975, they've been serving the people in this area. So if you have a long layover at DFW, you gotta come here. Serving traditional Tex-Mex food. What is your favorite food that you like to eat?
Well, of course, my favorite food is the plate that's named after me. It's called the Rudy Special. And it consists of an enchilada, rice, and beans.
Okay, and they're gonna be bringing that out pretty soon?
Yes, sure.
That's awesome. And you know, one of the best things about knowing your friends is who have restaurants. They actually brought me here when he was ordained, and me and a few other priest friends. This was the first time that I'd had really traditional Tex-Mex food, and it was awesome. Now, when you were growing up, did your family work here? The kids did?
Well, sure. This is a family-owned business, and so we worked here as kids and students, and we learned a lot of values working in the restaurant business.
Like, what would be the thing that you learned the most working in a restaurant like this?
I think one, perseverance. When you work in a restaurant, it really requires commitment, dedication, and perseverance. As does living out our faith, and even one's vocation. It requires perseverance.
Oh, here it is. And you're the youngest brother, right? I am. Okay, Omar, I gotta ask you a quick question. Come here, lean in real quick. How was Rudy as an older brother? And don't lie to a priest, all right?
No, he was awesome, older brother.
And you're kind of learning the management skills right now?
Correct.
Do you have a dish named after you?
I do not. I do not.
What's up with that, huh?
And this was named after our father, not Rudy.
Oh, okay. This is amazing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to taste test this, and I'm going to just keep asking a few questions. Like, your mom and dad, what was the best thing about owning a restaurant? It's hard work. What was the best thing for them in owning a restaurant like this?
I think if you were to ask them, they would say that it permitted them to raise their family in the way that they wanted to raise them, and that is with Catholic values. And the restaurant really permitted them to send us to Catholic schools and provided for us a Catholic education. I think that for them, that is the greatest thing that this restaurant has offered them.
I mean, this place is busy. It's lunchtime right now. It is packed to the gill. You've got police officers, you've got young couples, you've got businessmen here. With your mom and dad keeping so busy with all of this, how do they get a chance to practice their own faith?
Well, they see it as living out God's vocation for them and entrusting them with a family, and they're very conscious that they will have to give to God an account of how they live their lives. And they've shown it to us every day in their being faithful as parents and as business owners.
And you're open, what, 7 days a week? Or
We're actually open 6 days a week. They close on Sundays.
I mean, that is, this is kind of the original, let's take a Sabbath day of rest. And when you were together with your family on Sundays, did you have a family meal?
We did. And they always brought home the point that life is not about how much you produce or consume or how many things you have. It is about who you are as a person.
And your mom and dad, I know that, first of all, they're super generous people. They're so sweet. So they're like my mom and dad, the Mexican version of it, really. But you were telling me earlier about a story about how they're so willing to help people.
Yes, so one of the very inspiring...
And by the way, this is really good.
One of the inspiring stories to tell is that I witnessed once when somebody came in off of the streets here to the restaurant. They were down and out. They were looking for a job. My parents at that time could not offer them a job, but they knew that they had to do something for them. And they invited the person to come in and have a meal, and my parents served them a meal free of charge to them. Caring about others, that was instilled in us at a very early age.
Can we bring your mom and dad out as well? Because
Sure.
They're just such beautiful people. They are working. I mean, it's unbelievable how much action there is right now. And just to see that they've worked this hard.
Here they are,
oh
right
my gosh.
here with your sopapilla.
I remember Mrs. and Mrs. Garcia. I remember this, and I've been dreaming about this. Now, do you remember his first ordination, and his Mass? Tell us what the priest said.
So a priest friend of ours who frequented the restaurant said at the first Mass, when he delivered the homily, that one of the things that I should always do is come back to my parents' place on my day off and share a meal with them so that I never forgot where I came from. And the restaurant business prepared me for a life of service in the church. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. And grateful for the priest's inspiration to tell me that in the homily.
And the hospitality is amazing. And I got to tell you, I will come back here on my day off if Mr. and Mrs. Garcia make a dish named after me.
The Father Leo special.
There you go. Amazing. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for coming.
We're at the Market Street Kitchen north of Dallas, and we are continuing our theme